spacecraft of the Victor class is a 300-foot diameter discus, 22 feet high at the rim, increasing to 97 feet on the axis. Its at-rest Earth weight is 1,170 tons. The permanent crew is 187. In a hundredth of a second, the craft can be rendered invisible. When visible, it is tangible and would be recognized as a familiar object. When invisible to both sight and the entire electromagnetic spectrum, it is also intangible or transparent to any object, people, vehicles, weapons, aircraft, moving through it. A field can enshroud the spacecraft to repel, deflect, or absorb anything we can impose. This field is independent of the control of the invisibility. A dematerialization transport field with a range of 92 miles can move objects.
The landing. Hello, Frank. How are you? That greeting will forever be etched in my memory. It always brings me back to that cold day in December 1959. A day which changed my life forever, and one which I will recall as if it were yesterday for the rest of my life. That day began a journey which continues, and one which endures, even to this writing. The story began centuries ago, with the first reconnaissance exploration voyage, which confirmed that there indeed was life on this third planet from the Sun. There had been occasions which presented a dilemma to both the observed as well as the observer. These included several pilots being beamed into the ship in order to save their lives. This was a far cry from the first incidents of men throwing rocks in an attempt to repel the ship. It was during 1945 that the Earth was surrounded by 100 ships in order to protect the fragile atmosphere which surrounds it. A chain atomic reaction could easily have resulted because of the separation of the elements of the air. Earth could have been destroyed, thus creating many problems, a ripple effect, so to speak, throughout the universe. After reporting the observations of various voyages, several recommendations were made. The first was that an aerial display be performed in order to provide evidence of the physical existence of life, as it is known here.
Observational technology, that would be, of course, anywhere within their solar system. As the young woman continued to speak, the video screen portrayed in vivid colour each facet of the planet as she described it. We have only a small fraction of the total data with us, but I understand that the main library of the Confederation now contains more than 1,000 viewing hours of video and audio records of the planet, as well as samples of its atmosphere, water and soil. There are even a few artifacts obtained during brief landings by some of our more intrepid explorers. About 71% of the planet's surface is covered by water, to a considerable depth. While this does not limit the land area, the continual evaporation and condensation furnishes ample water for most animal and vegetable needs. The situation is ideal for the development of life forms, both in the water and on the land. As you will see, innumerable varieties of living things are to be found there. The Social Study Patrol Group, which made the first extensive observation of the planet, stated in their report that it seemed as though nature, in a whimsical mood, had chosen this planet as an experimental laboratory in which to put together organic molecules and protoplasmic cells in every imaginable pattern and combination.
UFOs and ETs, the secret files, historical facts and testimonials. UFO encounters prior to World War II. Commentary from Dr. Stephen Greer. Evidence of UFO sightings can be traced back to cave artwork, Egyptian hieroglyphics, events described in the Bible, and in ancient Vedic literature, as well as 16th century paintings featuring saucer-shaped flying objects. The first modern-day extraterrestrial encounter was believed to have occurred on a busy street in China in 1942, when a photographer selling souvenir photographs of visitors suddenly had his attention drawn to the sky, where a large, dark, disc-shaped object was hovering silently. The quick-thinking photographer focused his camera on the disc and obtained an excellent, clear photo of it. A military officer serving in the Chinese campaign prior to World War II was present on the street as well. He bought the photograph and apparently tucked it into a scrapbook he compiled while stationed in China. It went unnoticed for years, until a Japanese gentleman discovered the old album containing the 1942 photograph.
Foundations for a Fourth Reich and Antarctic development. After early military successes, the Nazis began experiencing major setbacks in the war against the Soviet Union. Their defeat at Stalingrad in February 1943, during which the entire German Sixth Army was destroyed, signified that the tide had decisively turned and the Soviet Union was going to prevail in the war. German industrialists saw the writing on the wall and made preparations for the movement of large financial resources to safe locations in various neutral countries, South America and Antarctica. Kurt Rees, a well-known news correspondent during World War II, describes the first meeting held by industrialists who began to prepare for the likely defeat. In May 1943, in the